AWS. How to prepare for AWS certification examinations, the practical approach. Actually, I'll tell you the intent of making this video at the first place. Um, I got various questions and various queries in my mail and everything regarding how to really approach this examination. Is it good for the freshers? Is AWS really hyped, and is it really worth it in India? What is the scope? And if I want to make a career switch in AWS, is it worth it? Because I'm earning well and I want bright future. So is AWS for me? Like, so many questions you people have asked just overwhelmed me, and I decided to come up with a practical video wherein I'll be dealing with such these questions, addressing as to how to really get started with AWS preparation in the first place. What are the right resources? Okay, and how do you really approach this certification? How can you clear it in a very short span of time, along with your job or with your studies? Okay, so a few of you have also asked me about the advices and tips what I want to give you for this certification examination. So this will also be covered in this video, okay? And the main crux, the point is now I'm coming to that. I'll be dealing with two important certifications. The first is AWS Solution Architect Associate Examination Certificate, and the second one is AWS-certified Cloud Practitioner. So how, what, when, where, all these questions would be addressed in this video. And I've got a surprise for you. Guess what? I won't be answering these questions, guys. So the surprise is that I've invited a guest, Maya Alexus, on the show to share her experience and how she aced these two examinations, these certificates in just 2 months. I'll give you a brief about the guest and the reason for inviting her. The first reason is that she has passed both of these certification examination in 2 months. She was a fresher, and she was also being told that yes, go ahead, this is a very good certification examination, good for your career. So she'll be sharing her practical experience, what she did to ace this examination along with her studies, and how she managed a job, what is the real life experience with AWS. She worked as a cloud and a DevOps developer in Toyota, and she's also pursuing her majors in computer science. And after that, she'll be joining JP Morgan Chase. But the thing is that if you are biased regarding the location of a person, yes, she does not belong to India. She is from North America. The second reason, what I want to clarify before I invite the guest, is that guys, the preparation, the exam is same across the globe. If you get the right method, the right way of learning, the right material, a lot of time is being saved, and you can just get that certification in a limited time, right? So my intention is to give you a platform wherein you can get the right advice from the right person who has actually experienced that thing. Okay. This person, Maya Alexis, has actually gone through the entire process. She has had her own drawbacks, she had own limitations, she had dealt with her own shortcomings, failures, and then she, understood the right thing. She applied it, and then she scaled both the examinations. The AWS software, I will say architect, and the second one was cloud practitioner certificate examination. So she'll be telling us, discussing all her experiences, what she did, what she not did, the resources, her experience, and her advices and tips for you guys, because who else can guide you better than her, because she's already traded this path, she's already been in this journey, and she's reached a destination. So yes, she can take us there. Okay, so without much ado, without wasting much time, let us invite Maya Alexis. I know there's a little excitement, so just keep it going till the end, guys. And yes, Maya Alexis. Hi Maya, welcome to the show. And thank you for taking time for us, for the viewers. And we are really looking for this session. That there are a lot of subscribers who have asked me a lot of question about, is AWS good for me? I'm a fresher. And if you have asked that I'm already having a good career, but I want to make a career switch in AWS. Is it good for me? So they're seeking for advices, suggestions. And so I'm really, excited to have you on my show so that you can just give them a good guidance because you have yourself completed the certification. Not just one, but two. So like it is a bonus for us. So please go ahead and tell us which one is the more difficult and what are the difficulties you faced in this examination?
So with the AWS Cloud Practitioner, that's basically a foundational level certification. In that certification, you talk about different services in AWS, different billing topics, and different support options. So it's very foundational. You do not have to know any code or anything honestly, for both of the exams that I'm about to talk about. But this one is very foundational just to get your feet wet in AWS so you know what's going on, what services for what. You don't have to build anything. It's literally just testing you on what service does this, or you have this certain type of billing plan. How would you be able to manage your spending or something like that? So it's very, very foundational. Even though a lot of people make a lot of videos on YouTube saying how easy it was, how they passed just studying for 3 days, I personally thought that was true and I didn't really take it serious. So I ended up failing my first time with the foundational level certification. So if you do fail, do not feel bad because some people just cannot sit and study for 3 days and then have all the information to be able to pass. I had to take time. I had to study for maybe about 3 weeks. And the resources I were using was Udemy practice tests. I was using, back when I took it, Linux Academy had their own separate course for it, but now A Cloud Guru bought Linux Academy. So all of the course material is usually on A Cloud Guru. So I watched most of the videos just to get a kind of visual reference for what was going on and stuff, because I can't just read the white pages on AWS's website to be able to understand the material. I had to look at videos. I had to look at practice the different tests, and do not, when you're taking the practice test on Udemy, don't think that the practice tests are exactly like the AWS test. They're not. But the practice test on Udemy will help you be able to understand why the question is right. I mean, why your answers are right or wrong. And the thing I like about the ones that I'll give you the links to those, the things I liked about these practice tests were they explain to you why your answer was wrong and why whatever the real answer is right in very good detailed paragraphs. Sometimes they show different diagrams to explain it to you. So definitely don't feel pressured like people are just passing within 3 days or something. Everybody is different. Everybody studies different.
Yes.
You study hard, and then I ended up when I first took it, I got like a 600 and something or a 500 or something, and I ended up getting a 900 and something on my second try. So it's all about your work ethic.
Okay, that was a very good information you gave us. It's like, yes, this is a very Udemy is a good platform to practice these tests because it helps you in an analysis and evaluation of your what thing you're really putting into the exam, how your approach is actually the evaluating
Yeah,
your approach. Okay, and
yeah.
and the next exam, if you talk about Maya, what is it? Is it of a different difficulty level? Because when you pass this cloud practitioner, what next? Like, do you have to? Is it important to take another exam, or just one exam is one certification is enough?
So I would definitely say, if you're looking for jobs and things like that, I would say definitely maybe look into the Solutions Architect Associate or any of the associate level exams. If you were to go on the AWS certification website, it shows you what are the foundational level ones, what are the associate level ones, and then they have the professionals. And honestly, a lot of people will go straight into the Solutions Architect Associate without even taking a Cloud Practitioner. And so with this certification, the Solutions Architect Associate, they talk more about the different services and how to build things in best practices. So you if you took the cloud practitioner and you know kind of some of the services, so now it's asking you to apply those services and how you would build architectures and infrastructures using AWS services. So that's where the difference comes in. And I feel like a lot of, like I said, a lot of new people do just go straight into the solutions architect and they pass. So it's not like, oh, like I don't know anything. There are people out there doing it. I didn't go that way because I didn't really even know. I kind of just did it on a spur of a moment, like, oh, well, I passed the cloud practitioner, let me take the solution architect. But yeah, you can definitely take it and pass if you study, you use the Udemy practice test, you use a Cloud Guru, because they have others courses where you can learn about the solutions architect associate. So it's the next step, it's the intermediate level for AWS certifications. And I wouldn't say it's hard. You just, one of the biggest things I would say with any of the exams is don't try to memorize anything. You have to know this material, you have to know this stuff and how to apply it, and not trying to memorize the practice test because they're not going to ask you the same questions that they ask on the exam.
Yeah. So do they focus on this project type of a thing? Do you have to build some project or something like that?
So there's no building of anything. All you have to, it's like multiple choice questions, and they're only asking you, like, for example, a customer is wanting to find a way to host their product for up to a year. You have to say, and then they'll ask like a key question, like which EC2 instance is most cost efficient. So you have to look through the answers to say which one would be cheaper for their scenario. So it's basically scenario questions where they're asking you what is the most cost efficient, which one is the most highly available. So it's kind of like trick questions. You have to make sure you're looking for what the customer wants, because when I was taking the practice test, I realized that I was like seeing some of the worst and like, oh, well, this is this certain product. But you have to like slow down and make sure you understand what are they asking for, because the product I might be thinking in my head might be best, may be too expensive. There might be a cheaper option or another way of doing it. So
Yeah.
it's kind of, that's the only part I would say is hard about that one. You have to understand what the customer is asking for, what they want, and which would be the most cost efficient or highly available, whatever they're asking for, what service would be best for it.
Okay, so this requires a little thinking, thought process has to be very clear while approaching this test.
Yeah.
Actually, yes, yeah. Okay, and what about the language? People keep asking me what language to choose. Is there something about language which you wanna share with us? Something about language, AWS.
Like programming languages.
Programming language, yes. Python or R or C++, any.
So when you're just taking the test, you do not have to know any of the programming languages. They don't ask you any questions relating to any of them. But if you're actually trying to do projects after you get your certification in AWS, there's different services and they all have different programs that they may want for those services. So it all depends on what project you're trying to do. For example, if I wanted to make a website using S3 buckets, I would have to know HTML or JavaScript and those type of things.
Yeah.
But if I was trying to use one of their serverless programs like AWS Lambda, they have multiple options. You could use Java, you could use Python. There was other different languages too. So it's very broad. There's different things. They're very flexible with things, but it ultimately depends on what program, what project you're trying to do.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so one interesting question. Is this AWS certificates really hyped, Maya? Do you think it is
Mhm.
hyped because everybody is like rushing for this certification? It is kind of in thing now.
Yeah, I think it's definitely booming in the industry right now. A
Yes.
lot of companies are trying to get on board with cloud
Sometimes,
computing.
yeah, sometimes I also feel, shall I also do this or not?
Yeah, it's very hype. So when you see more people getting the certifications, it's like, oh, like when people look at your resume, you have to have something now that's like,
Yeah.
well, what else do you have? Because now everybody's getting the certifications.
Yeah. So is it really a good hype? Is it worth it? I mean, in long run, do you have a career scope in AWS? Like you have a ladder to trace yourself, because you, as you said, there's beginner, intermediate, and advanced level. So you keep on passing the certification examination and keep scaling this professional ladder. Is it that way I can put it?
Yeah, I would definitely say like the certifications are a great starting point. When I used to work at Toyota's headquarters, um, they had just started getting people on board. When I was taking the certifications, we all were in the same classes together. And some of those people were like senior software engineers and things like that. So it's a good start because there are people that's working right now who don't even have it, or they've been so stuck in their job, they don't even really know about cloud because they've been doing whatever they've been doing. So I think it's good to say like, hey, I had these certifications. I've been doing these projects on my own time. It gives you something because they're looking for people who know. Instead of, would you rather want to pick someone who already got a little bit of their feet wet in AWS rather than starting with someone who knows nothing about it? So that's how I try to think about it, is you're a little ahead, but you still have to get more professional experience and things like that. But it's better than nothing.
Yeah, yeah, perfect. Makes sense. Perfect. And another thing I would like to know about, how was your experience in Toyota? How was it? Like you enjoyed working in with AWS? Is it the like how do you find your will you last in for AWS for years, or maybe later on you might change again?
Yeah,
Sometime.
so I'm so grateful for my experience because when I got matched with the team, I didn't even know what AWS was. I didn't even know what cloud computing was. So I'm very fortunate that they were the ones who exposed me to it and were able to provide for me. Like they paid for my certifications, and they paid for me to actually get the course material and things like that. And they had actual AWS teachers come and like teach us stuff. I ended up I end up failing from just trying to use the teaching that we learned. I still had to do my own personal studying, but it gave me a head start to be able to say like, hey, like I can actually do this and continue. So after I left Toyota, I had did like a little project in AWS, but for the most part, I was on doing more like DevOps type work. But I did end up making a program where I was able to help Toyota employees with how they're managing their Bitbucket repositories and be able to clean them more easier without having to manually go in and look at every single repository that they had. They would be able to remove them easily with my program. But they gave me a foundation level with it. So I was able to say like, hey, I did this at Toyota. So when I went to my next internships and talk at my job interviews, I could say like I actually did something for it.
Oh yes, that's another feather in your cap, right?
Yeah. So any
Okay.
experience that you get is great experience,
Yes,
no matter
absolutely.
how small or big it is.
Yes, yes. So, coming to the job opportunities, I know there's a difference in India and the place where you're placed in. So, now, your take on this, like, will the industry boom in coming years? Because there is a shortage of demand and supply. The skill set is also missing. So
Mhm,
I am positive that yes, there will be a boom, and if people just skill themselves with AWS, there is a good future. So
mhm,
what do you think about this, like irrespective of the COVID or pandemic, um,
mhm,
and across the globe, like the employment opportunities and scope of having this AWS certification?
mhm. So I would definitely say for my own experience, the job that I ended up accepting, for right now, I'm just a software engineer and we're going into the process of matching with me with the team. But one of the advice that I got from one of my previous mentors is don't focus completely on getting your dream job. Focus on just getting a job so you're in the door at a company and then you can build yourself up to where you want to be. So for example, if I don't end up getting matched on a cloud team, I'm okay as long as I'm in the door so that I'm able to network with people on the cloud team. So you start to get to know people and it's like, hey, like we have a job opening. I know you like want to have experience with it. So that's what it's all about. So don't focus on, I have to get a cloud job right after I get my certifications, right after I get my experience. It can take time. So get in the door first, then you can work your way up if you don't end up getting a cloud engineering job or cloud support job right after you get your certifications and experience.
Oh, Maya, that was so inspiring. Of course, seriously. Yes, yes, yes. And some like practical tips you would like to give to the viewers about how to approach this exam and how many hours is there a time limit that I know study pattern depends on person to person, but some tips, something you would like to share with us.
So I would say first, when you decide on what exam you want to take, go on the AWS certification website and see what material is going to be on the exam. So then you should make a study plan to figure out, I'm going to take time this week to focus on this. Then next week, I'm going to focus on this. So you're not just constantly overboarding your mind and you're not retaining the information. So make your study plan, hold yourself accountable for it. And then I would say once you feel a little more comfortable with the material you're learning, you're doing better on the practice test. And also on the practice test, if you're getting like 60s and 50s your first time around, don't feel discouraged. A lot of people aren't doing well on them at first, but you keep retaking them until you're getting like at least 70s or 80s on them. And then after you feel more comfortable with the practice test, then I would say make your appointment for your AWS certification. So that way you can really hold yourself accountable, because I don't know if any of you guys are like this, but if I know like a test or something is months away, I don't take it serious until it's closer to the time. So if you, as long as you're ahead already, and then you make your appointment rather than you gave yourself, because you may feel like you were able to study within 3 weeks, but it may take you 4 weeks, or something happens at home where you're not able to study like that. So I wouldn't say there's a certain set of hours. It really does depend on the particular person, but at least spend 2 hours a day, or try, or like during the weekend, to try to make up for the time you didn't study for the week, to make sure you understand what you're studying for.
Definitely. Yes, that would really help because, yeah, if you have to achieve, you have to be a little consistent with your practice.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yes. So, Maya, I would also like to, I've written a lot of questions for you, because, um, so I think we've covered most of that. The links I will provide the viewers in the description box, what you were telling about the Udemy and other resources. And any advices, anything from your side regarding the exam? Anything?
I would say don't compare yourself to other people. Because when I used to go on YouTube or go on Reddit and see what other people were saying and how easy it was and this and that, I kind of took it personal. It's like, well, am I dumb? Like, why did why didn't I pass and things like that? So don't take it personal. Everybody has different experiences. Everybody thinks differently. Some people do get jobs straight out, and it's okay. Everyone's on their own path, and you can do it. I promise you can do it. There are people out here, you're not behind. There are people out here with jobs already that don't know anything about AWS, and they're trying to get in just like you. So it's
Yeah.
okay, and
So
you
you
can
are on the
succeed.
same level. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. That is something, eye-opening, that because people fear that I'm a fresher and I have to make a career switch. This is new to me. Would I be able to make it? Would I be able to do that? Because yeah, this is something which everybody, faces, these
Yeah.
pre-assumed preconceptions and notions. So thanks for clearing this thing out, Maya. This was really, really an eye-opener for
Yeah.
mostly all my viewers. So I think most of the, Acha, you also told me about that once you take one exam, for the another exam you have a discount or something like that.
Yes. So
And
when you take the cloud practitioner is $100, I want to say. And so after you pass that, they give you a free practice test from AWS, and then they give you a 50% off discount for your next exam.
okay, so these
And it's
exams,
whatever exam you want.
okay, whatever exam you want. Okay,
Mhm.
okay, okay. So so you'll be taking another exam in the coming few months or so. Any plans?
I think I want to branch out and maybe do non-AWS ones. I kind of wanted to look into Azure because their cloud is really blowing up too.
Yeah,
But for right now, I just want to focus on kind of the YouTube channel, making
yeah.
sure I'm helping other people and just trying to figure out what do I want to do. And if I even making sure my job assigns me with the cloud teams.
So Maya, tell us about your YouTube channel. We would really like to know. All our subscribers would really, really like to learn from your videos, and tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel.
Yeah, so after I had failed my first certification, I wanted to make sure that there was a YouTube channel out there where people were actually being transparent about what they're going through, because everyone loves to talk about how they succeeded, but who really talks about when they fail or what they struggled with? So I just wanted to make a transparent platform where I was able to help people to be able to understand like what they should be doing, what they should be preparing for, and what they should be expecting, and how they should study for it. And my YouTube channel is Maya Alexus, and I just like being able to help people because nobody really helped me with mine. And so to be able to give back to other people who I know think like me and maybe feeling overwhelmed, because AWS is so broad. There's so many certifications
Yeah,
to get. There's so much material out here. It's just
actually.
a lot. So I just want to be able to help people.
Even I got confused as to what to put into the perspective. What is this AWS? It's so huge actually, and not just with Microsoft. It's, I mean, not just with Amazon. It's like Microsoft, Google. They are like, oh my god.
Everybody is making
Yeah,
cloud
yeah,
platforms
cloud.
now.
So that's what I was saying. That is AWS hyped, or like Google is catching up, or Microsoft is also catching up. So why just to stick with AWS? Why not other certifications also? Can they do other certifications? Google or Microsoft, do they provide like Azure, as you said?
I would definitely say I feel like AWS and Azure are the most popular right now.
Mhm.
And at the companies that I've worked at, I didn't hear people really talk about Azure, but I know a lot of companies do use it. And honestly, a lot of companies use multiple cloud platforms. So it's not just like one company saying, oh, we only use AWS. They'll use multiple of them and have different people for
Of
using
course,
multiple of them.
with the abundance of big data, we have to, adopt
Yeah,
these technologies. Very true,
yeah.
very true. So we have data, we need to know how to work with cloud. That is for sure. Simple logic, as simple as that. So you've really put things into perspective, made things so much simpler for us. Maya, thank you so much for joining us. And I will also request all the viewers to please go and watch out Maya's channel, subscribe to her, support her, comment, and like, subscribe definitely. And Maya is here to help us all. And if you have got any queries, please mention it in the comment section so that we can work it together with Maya. If you want another session, we can schedule it. And yes, all the best. And Maya, last words to the viewers, your wishes.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I wish you the best on your exams. If you have any questions, please ask us. We're here for you. And I hope you have a good experience. You know, you can do it.
Of course. Thank you, Maya. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yes, no problem.